Hello students. Previously we have learned about weather and climate and their elements. We have learned that elements of weather are taken into consideration while describing the climate of a region. What are elements of weather? Temperature of the air pressure, winds, moisture, precipitation. These are elements of weather. And we have learned about temperature as an element of weather. What is the temperature? Temperature is a physical quantity that expresses as hot or cold. And we have learned about the temperature of the air. The earth gets heat from the sun. We know that the sun is a main source of energy. As a result, the earth gets heat or energy from the sun. As a result, the surface of the earth gets heated up. The air close to the surface of the earth starts becoming hot, and later one by one layers of the air at a higher elevation receives heat. Therefore, as we move upwards from the sea level, the temperature of the air decreases. The temperature of the air also decreases as we move towards both the poles from the equator. This means latitude is the main factor that influences the distribution of the temperature on the surface of the earth from the equator to both the poles. And for concluding this, we are going to try one activity. Let us try the activity for concluding how does the factor latitude influence the distribution of the temperature on the surface of the earth. Let us try. Now, let us try this activity which has been given in our textbook on page number 23. First step, take a torchlight and keep it stable at one place. Look at this torchlight. I have placed this torchlight stable at one place. Now, take two large paper sheets large enough to accommodate its entire beam. Look at these paper sheets. And these paper sheets are large enough to accommodate the entire beam of this torchlight. Now paste these papers on two flat boards. Look at these flat boards. Now we have to paste these paper sheets on these flat boards. Look at this. I have pasted these large paper sheets on a flat boards. Now hold the board perpendicular to the beam of torchlight. Look at this board. This board is perpendicular to the beam. It makes an angle of 90 degrees with the beam of this torchlight. Now draw the outline of the area lit up by the beam. Look at this. I have drawn the outline of the area lit up by the beam. Now name this paper as A. Now use the other paper, hold it in such a way that it makes an angle of 120 degrees with the beam. Look at this other paper. Now we have to hold this paper in such a way that it makes an angle of 120 degrees with the beam of torchlight. Now draw the outline of the area occupied by the beam. Look at here. I have drawn the outline of the area occupied by the beam. Now label this paper as a B. Now observe both the papers A and B. Now tell, on which paper does the beam occupy a larger area? Look at this occupied area by the beam of a torchlight. On a paper A and on a paper B. Using scale, one can measure the occupied area by the beam of a torchlight on a paper A as well on a paper B. And we have noted that the beam of a torchlight occupied a larger area on the paper that is held in such a way that it makes an angle of more than 90 degrees with the beam. Thus, the beam occupied a larger area on a paper B. Now tell, on which paper does the beam of torchlight occupy a smaller area? The beam of torchlight occupied a smaller area on the paper that is held in such a way that it makes an angle of 90 degrees with the beam. Therefore, the beam of torchlight occupied a smaller area on the paper A. And now change the angle between the beam of light and the paper. Observe the changes that occur in the area occupied by the beam. Look at here. Now we are going to change the angle between the beam of torchlight and the paper. Look at here. We have hold this paper in such a way that it makes an angle of 150 degrees with the beam. Now draw the outline of the area occupied by the beam. Look at this. I have drawn the outline of the area occupied by the beam of torchlight. And we have noted that occupied area is increased than the B and A. This happened when we made an angle of 150 degrees with the beam. Now tell, what is the relation between the angle of the paper and the area occupied by the beam? Now we will use this figure for getting this question's answer. When the angle of the paper with the beam is of 90 degree or right angle, the area occupied by the beam of a torchlight is smaller, as shown on paper A. Whereas, when the angle of the paper with the beam is of more degree than the right angle, for example, an angle of 120 degree or 150 degree, these are types of obtuse angle, the area occupied by the beam of a torchlight is larger as shown on the paper B. This is the relation between the angle of the paper and the area occupied by the beam of torchlight. Let us see this geographical explanation. Sun rays coming towards the earth travel in a straight lines. However, as the earth is spherical in shape, these are not perpendicular to all the parts of the surface of the earth. In some parts of the surface of the earth, they are perpendicular, whereas in other parts they are slanting or extremely slanting. Let us see what effect it has on the surface of the earth. The perpendicular sun rays occupy less area. In this figure you can see these are perpendicular sun rays occupy less area near the equator. The part of the surface of the earth where the sun rays occupy lesser area receives bright sunshine and greater heat. Hence, the surface there gets heated more and the air becomes hotter. Therefore, the temperature will be high near the equator. In this figure, this area is marked as A. So, the temperature will be high near the region marked as A. The slant sun rays occupy a larger area. In this figure, you can see the region marked B receives slant sun rays near the tropic, and the angle of sun rays is smaller than right angle or 90-degree angle. And in the region marked C receives extremely slanting sun rays near the polar regions, and the angle of sun rays is smaller than the angle of sun rays in the region B and A. As a result, in this area, sunlight appears less bright and there is a less heat. Hence, the temperature in the region marked B near tropic is a moderate, and the temperature in the region marked C in a polar region will be low. And now observe the figure 5.2, the Earth's shape and the distribution of sun rays. The region on the surface of the Earth marked by A receives perpendicular sun rays. The region on the surface of the Earth marked by B receives slanting sun rays, and the region on the surface of the Earth marked by C receives extremely slanting sun rays. And now do it yourself according given guidelines in your textbook. Using a scale, measure the lengths of the lit up portions on the surface of the Earth in the regions A, B and C. Look at this scale. Using this scale, we will measure the length of the lit up portion on the surface of the Earth in a region A. And it is about 7 millimeters. Now, we will measure the length of the lit up portion on the surface of the Earth in a region B. And it is about 9 millimeters. And the lit up portion on the surface of the Earth in a region C is a 1.5 centimeters. And now measure the width of the sun rays shown between the Earth and the Sun using a scale. And we have noted that the width of the sun rays receives different regions on the surface of the earth is the same. It is about 7 millimeters according the figure. However, these sun rays occupy a larger or lesser area in different regions on the surface of the earth. Considering the parallels of a latitude that marked in this figure as A, B and C, tell the regions where the temperature will be high, moderate and low. The temperature will be high in the regions that receiving perpendicular sun rays, because when the sun strikes Earth's surface near the equator, the incoming sun rays are more direct or perpendicular, and they makes right angle or 90-degree angle and occupy lesser area. As a result, this area receives bright sunshine and greater heat. Therefore, the sun rays or solar radiations are concentrated over a smaller surface area, causing warmer or high temperatures in a region A according the figure, and in the region marked B, the sun rays are slanting. They occupy large area and makes smaller angle than the right angle or 90-degree angle. As a result, in this area, sunlight appears less bright and there is a less heat. As a result, the temperature is a moderate in the region marked B near the tropic. In the region marked C, the sun rays are extremely slanting. They occupy larger area of the surface of the earth. They make smaller angle than the angle of sun rays in the region B and A. Due to smaller angle, causing heat or energy to be spread over an extremely larger area of the surface of the earth. As a result, in this area, sunlight appears less bright, there is a less heat. Therefore, the temperature of the air in the region marked C will be low near the polar regions. Let us see how does the spherical shape of the earth affects the distribution of sun rays on the surface of the earth from the equator to both the poles. Sun rays falling on the earth are straight and parallel to each other. However, we have seen that due to the spherical shape of the earth and the resultant curvature of the surface, they occupy a larger or a lesser area. This leads to unequal distribution of the heat received from the sun, resulting in a decreasing temperature from the equator to the north and south poles. Based on the distribution of a temperature, the earth can be divided into torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. In both the hemispheres are tropical, temperate and polar regions. Look at this figure. Thermal zones. It is about distribution of the temperature on the surface of the earth from the equator to both the poles. The area between 0 degree equator to both the tropics, that are Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, is called torrid zone. In the northern hemisphere, the area between 23 degree 30 minute north parallel, it is a Tropic of Cancer, and 66 degree 30 minute north parallel, it is a Arctic or polar circle, is called temperate zone. And in the southern hemisphere, the area between 23 degree 30 minute south parallel, it is a Tropic of Capricorn, and 66 degree 30 minute south parallel, it is Antarctic or polar circle in the southern hemisphere, is called temperate zone. And in the northern hemisphere, the area between 66 degree 30 minute north parallel, it is the Arctic circle, and North Pole is called frigid zone. And in the southern hemisphere, the area between 66 degree 30 minute south parallel, it is the Antarctic circle, and South Pole is called frigid zone. Thus, we have noted that latitude is the main factor that influences the distribution of temperature. Though latitude is the main factor, there are other factors also which influence the distribution of temperature. Next time, we will try to learn these factors.